Hello. Yeah, this is the first video. You guys will get to hear my live voice for once. I must have took 9 tries to do that last video. I mean, I'm pretty shit at live commentary, so that's a great start to the video. But today, I want to discuss a personal experience of mine that's got a lot to do with my depression personally, and that is my dad. I've had a lot of problems with my dad in my life. I'm going to tell you the story about how how my mum met my dad, and all this happened, and how I became depressed from meeting my dad. Um, yeah, the dad situation for me, is one that's kind of really hard to talk about. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's a topic, and I did say to raise awareness, and there's probably a lot of other people that have got dad, mum issues that they want to get out in the open. So, well, let's get right into the story, I guess. It was 1995, and my mum met my dad in a bar, and there's no point telling you about the relationship they had. And they had me. My dad had left my mum by that point, and he said he didn't want anything to do with me. Basically, he said, "I'll provide for you financially," which we'll get into later in the video. Um, but I don't want to know emotionally or personally, Ryan. And then, he changed his mind and then decided he did, but that, he started coming at times like 12 o'clock at night and stuff, which is nowhere near, good enough to see your baby son or something like that. So my mum deleted his number and moved house to get away from him. And you could say, I mean, some of my close friends have asked me, "Do you hold that against your mum that she did that?" And I'm like, no, because it was the right decision at the end of the day. I mean, you, as a kid, if you're a mum or a dad that's watching this video, you know that if someone's going to come into your child's life and then not be consistently a father to them, then that's not good enough. It's not good for their well-being. They'll think they have a dad and then they won't, and then they will. But that must have been when I was 2 years of age. And then 13 years later, I was curious and I wanted to find my dad. And yeah, so I found him on Facebook and we started talking for a good while. And everything was going fine, I mean, I didn't really question anything. But this is where it goes pear-shaped, me and my dad's relationship. The main reason I wanted to speak to my dad is because I didn't know who he was. If you'd shown me a picture of him, I wouldn't know who he was because I just grew up thinking, oh, I didn't have a dad, didn't really think much of it. And yeah, I wanted answers. I wanted answers because, I've got a lot, to ask. I didn't know. I mean, I think everyone has their own personal identity and they need to put their jigsaw of their life together by, their parents' job to, how they got here and, you know, explain stuff to them. And then I asked this to my dad, and yeah, this is where it goes bad because he wouldn't tell me if no one knows my dad, and I'm not going to give away his name for confidential reasons, but my dad is one of the most stubborn people that you'll meet. If he doesn't get his own way, he doesn't like it. And I know some of my good friends will be like, "Oh, touche, Ryan, that's exactly like you." But he would refuse to tell me anything. I wouldn't get anything out of him really. Yeah, it's a hard situation for me to talk about, but I am gonna get through it. Um, yeah, so I continued to speak to my dad for, I don't know why I call him my dad. It should be biological father, but yeah, I continued to speak to him, and I've met him once since I was 15, and I'm 17 now. So it's been a year and a half since I've met him face to face. I mean, I still talk to him now and again, but sometimes I just really don't see the point. It's like battering down a brick wall yet again. Touche, because I'm quite like that as well. If you know me well enough, you'll know I'm quite like that. Um, but yeah, I think my dad just he said to me when I first met him, you know, I wasn't ready for a son and stuff like that. But I was like, you've had kids already before me. I don't see the difference between having a son and a daughter. I don't know if there's any difference. I mean, there is differences, but I don't